Hey, what's up? My name is Jonathan Fink, and this is my free audiobook series on YouTube. Up next, we have Spirits of the Gridiron, Volume 1, Chapter 18, The Guest Lecture. It was a gray Wednesday in early October. Leaves had just begun to drift down across the Simpson College campus. Inside the Humanities building, dozens of undergrads packed into Intro to Religion. Beck Jordan slouched beside Madison in the second row. Their professor had mentioned a guest speaker, but Beck had expected some retired theologian in a tweed jacket and loafers, quoting obscure Methodist texts with dry certainty. He wasn't expecting this. The man who entered was barefoot, dressed in a simple orange robe that rippled slightly as he walked. He moved with a quiet grace that made the room fall silent without him asking. His hands were folded calmly. His eyes held something ancient and kind. His presence was warm, like a campfire on a snowy morning. "Hello," he said, bowing gently. "My name is Vanu Tenson. I am a monk from the Buddhist temple here in Indianola. I come not to convert, but to share. I come not to convince, but to offer." He smiled. The class, including Madison and Beck, sat up a little straighter. Tenzin began to speak, not with urgency, but with rhythm. "Many people misunderstand karma," he said. "They think it means cosmic punishment. What goes around comes around. But karma is not revenge. It is not divine anger. It is simply cause and effect. Every action is a seed. Every thought, a ripple. What we plant now grows later. If you act from compassion, peace will bloom. If you act from fear or greed, suffering follows. The world you live in tomorrow is being created by how you treat people today." His wrist still ached from yesterday's practice. He wondered how many seeds he'd planted without thinking, how many moments he'd rushed past without reflection. The monk moved on to reincarnation. "We are more than this one body," he said, tapping his chest. "This body is like clothing. When it wears out, the mind continues. Not the same as before, but not separate either. Imagine a flame passed from one candle to another. The flame continues, but it is not quite the same. We carry these echoes of many lives, their lessons, their grief, their wisdom. This is not about climbing upward like a ladder, but growing inward like a tree." The class was completely still. Even the kid in the back, who always played on his phone, had gone quiet. Beck turned slightly. Madison's eyes were fixed on Tenzin. Her hands were folded in her lap, her posture relaxed. Like she wasn't just listening, she was absorbing. Tenzin paused, then spoke again. "Buddhism teaches the middle path," he said. "Not indulgence, not denial. We do not starve the self, nor do we feed every craving. Instead, we tune ourselves like a guitar string. Too tight, and we snap. Too loose, and we make no sound. Balance is where peace lives, not by escaping the world, but by walking through it clearly, calmly." It landed like a weightless truth. Beck had been swinging between extremes, going all in on everything, burning out, then starting again. Football, academics, fraternity, love, it was all too much and never enough. He felt like a guitar string stretched too tight, maybe even about to break. Then a hand raised in the back. A pretty red-haired girl in an old sporting Kansas City soccer jersey asked, "But what if we're Christians? How can we learn from Buddhism without betraying our faith?" Tenzin smiled and his smile widened. He looked peaceful, not because he had all the answers, but because he didn't need to. "This is a beautiful question," he said. "You do not have to leave Jesus to learn from others." Jesus spoke of compassion, mercy, forgiveness. These are not owned by any one tradition. The middle path is not a rejection of truth. It is a way to walk beside it, humbly, gently. If your heart belongs to Christ, let it. But ask, can your walk with Christ be deeper, gentler, more aware? You do not need to become Buddhist to become more spiritually awake. A silence followed, not awkward, but full of thought. Beck felt something shift inside him. He didn't need to run from football, or school, or fraternity. He didn't need to abandon his path. Maybe he just needed to walk it better, with more clarity, more balance, less fear. He wasn't chasing perfection. He was tuning a string. After class, as students filed out in a stunned quiet, Madison reached for his hand. "You okay?" she asked, her eyes soft. Beck nodded. "Yeah," he said. "I think I just found my Zen." End of chapter 18. Up next, chapter 19, the hot air balloon. If you enjoyed this chapter, please smash the like button. If you really, really enjoyed this chapter, please subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. You guys take care. God bless.